Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Cinephile Corner, where we have our top guests from the world of media, film, and TV, and that industry. I'm Morgan Vincent, and today we have esteemed guest Dean Ferris and James. First up, a director and visual artist who has redefined storytelling through unique experiences, James Land. And joining him, someone who's been a driving force in their creative endeavors, Dean Ferris. So let's start with James. I've been a big admirer of your work. I think it's brilliant, especially your unique style of mixing narrative with digital techniques. But let's start with your approach to storytelling. Mm-hmm. How do you balance creative experimentation while making sure that it's able to resonate with your audiences?
You've got to have a structure. You've got an idea of who you're telling a story for.
Right.
Once you've decided the story that you want to tell that you're passionate about, and you know who your audience is, so that those other things just sort of fall into line, really. All structure, all storytelling modes, whether it's documentary, music video, or narrative, they've all got certain conventions. So you try and stick to those as much as you can, but allowing yourself room to be creative and experiment. And it genuinely, or generally, should I say, depends on who you're telling the story about.
So finding your audience, but also allowing space to be creative.
Sure.
Right. Yeah, thank you. And Dean, you've had a very varied career working for TV networks, producing engaging digital content for brands and things like that. When you're working on such different projects, what's your creative process like?
So, in my opinion, the most important thing is collaboration between different people. Obviously, I think the times when we had like one director and author of the project has, these times are gone. And I believe that actually projects are going through different stages. And my responsibility was to not only to engage and kind of give few suggestions about the project, but actually to listening to other people and combining the all projects. That's what I think is the most important in a collaborative team production.
Oh, very insightful. Thank you. Both of you have worked on different projects where technology is key to creating new experiences, let's say. James, your work in storytelling, whether it's VR, interactive design, things like that, or digital art, seems to lean into the quite storytelling side of it. So how do you see tech evolving in terms of how it influences filmmaking in the next few years?
Well, it's going at a very fast rate, and it has done even in the time since I've been practicing as a filmmaker and a creative. So, the quick answer is I really don't know, because it's accelerating at such a rapid rate. Obviously, the biggest sort of buzz at the minute is around AI. I see we've seen a little bit of it already in terms of actors who are no longer with us, been brought back, digitally recreated. I think Rogue One brought back Peter Cushing. So there's a bit of a moral or ethic panic about that, but in terms of my opinion on that, I personally think as long as the families of these people are okay with it, it's something I would like to see. But aside from that, at the wider creative practice, that revolution's already here, and we're just kind of riding the coattails of it, really trying to keep up the best we can, which is hard. Exactly, always adapting, learning new cameras, new software. As soon as you've learned it, the next one comes along, and off you go again.
Okay, thank you. And now to Dean. You've worked with companies such as Amazon Prime and Warner Brothers, and which must have given you a lot of experience with streaming platforms. How do you think these streaming sites has adapted and changed the world of media consumption?
So when we were going from a film, like regular film, to digital filmmaking, everyone was saying like, oh, the film is dying, and the film will never be the same. I think we're stepping into a completely new opportunities for creative, individuals, and I think it's important to make a notice of that they have a lot of money, they want to do a lot of investment, there's a lot of people waiting for content. It's a time to step in. However, we always have to remember that sometimes the companies who are actually that big might actually have too much power. So I think it's a
balance.
If it's a very slippery subject, I would say.
Well, thank you. Okay. So some brilliant answers from our guests, but we're going to move on. Well, we're taking a break and we'll be back in a bit. But for now, we're going to our walkie-talkie segment, where we hit the streets to find out people's all-time favorite films. It's going to be fun, so don't go anywhere. Thank you for watching.
Hi, my name's Ray, and this is Walkie Talkies, where we go about and ask people their favourite films and why. Well, your favourite film is?
Dr. Zhivago.
Why is that?
The actors that are in it, the settings, the story, everything about it.
What makes it stand out as a film to you?
The story really. It encompasses the story, the revolution, everything about it. Julie Christie, the main star. You wouldn't know. You've probably never seen it, have you?
I don't think I have, I'm afraid.
No, you ought to see it. It's a classic. David Lean's film.
Is it a film you'd recommend?
Definitely. Definitely.
Classic.
Okay.
Perfect, thank you so much. So, what's your favourite film?
I'd say probably The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Why is that?
I just love the style of it. I'm a fan of gothic style of films. So anything Tim Burton related, I'm obsessed with.
Big fan of Studio Ghibli as well?
Very big fan of that. I do like that as well. So I went to the talk at Phoenix they had a while ago.
Oh, yeah.
About the art history of it. Really interesting, to be fair. Really, really good.
What's one gothic kind of animation film in that genre that you'd recommend to somebody to watch?
I'd say Coraline would be a good one. I know it's a very, very popular one, but it's worth watching it. It's worth watching it because it's just amazing. So I watched it in the cinema for the anniversary thing. Amazing in the cinema. Yeah. Really, it's worth a watch.
Hi there. What do you think is the saddest film you've ever seen?
Saddest film I've ever seen? Grave of the Fireflies.
Never heard of it. What's that about?
It's a Ghibli film, Studio Ghibli film. Tokyo during sieges in World War II.
What makes that film stand out to you?
It's really in stark contrast to the other films from Ghibli Studios. Most of them are really, the colours pop a lot. They're sometimes even pastel.
Very bright, happy films.
Soundtracks as well, generally really bouncy, happy, or a bit mysterious, but none of them are really just openly sad as Grave of the Fireflies, I think, because all the struggles in that film are so futile in the end.
What would you say is, what's your favourite film of all time? Something you could rewatch time and time again.
Okay, we're beginning to see a bit of a series here, but it would be Spirited Away.
Classic choice.
Yeah, I do like Studio Ghibli a lot.
The Grand Budapest Hotel by Wes Anderson.
What's one of the most underrated aspects of the film Grand Budapest Hotel?
The hilarity of Monsieur Gustave, the main character, his little poetries. I think a lot of people just enjoy the kind of actiony kind of stuff, but his little poeticisms that he sticks in that make absolutely no sense in the context. But sound fabulous. They're hilarious. I love it. Yeah.
It builds a lot for character as well. It really gives you an insight into Monsieur Gustave himself.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah.
I often found the colour was very underrated in those films.
I love the colour of them. The whole film is just. I think that's Wes Anderson's masterpiece. I think to me is Grand Budapest.
What is the film you disliked the most when you watched it?
I don't know.
A film you would never watch again just because when you did it was oh God, I really just sit through that.
You know what? I did watch the new Willy Wonka, and it was terrible compared to the old one. The old one was really good, and the new one is terrible.
Not
watch it again.
a fan of Timothée Chalamet?
Not really. It's just, it's a shit movie. It just wasn't at the mark.
Didn't live up to standards, I think a lot of people would say. What is one film you would recommend to anybody, regardless of what they're into? What film would you recommend to anyone to see?
Films, I'm not sure. What about series? Correct.
Yeah, we can go series.
I recommend Breaking Bad. Literally my favourite series. I've watched it twice.
I've probably rewatched it too many times. Solid choice for a good reason, I think.
Thank you to our guests for being here today, and tune in next week to see Will Poulter show off his gymnastics for his new movie, The Only Way to Heaven is on a Balance Beam. Thank you and good night.